Wow, wow.
Welcome to the European Ultimate Championships 2023, and we have women's pool play action getting underway. Day 2 formally of the championships, but the first game of many of the players here on the fields in sunny, and it is a little bit sunny, Limerick. So we see the Italians on offense chasing down the French women. This is lovely movement downfield. They really are racing away with it, swinging across to Bolognesi. Thinks about that inside, but a little bit collateral allows Scazzieri to emerge from the pack. A low one into the end zone, and the first on the board for the Italians. Gianna Arcalangi with the goal.
Beautiful look in the inside, with the inside for Scazzieri, Irene Scazzieri, back from San Francisco to show off her new skills. Well, I mean, she already had a bunch of them. We've seen previous championships, and can't wait to see now what this Italian team will have to show. We haven't seen them yet in the season. They were supposed to come to Windmill, and the last-minute cancellation. So we know the Frenchies. We saw them on the final against Germany. Great final. If you haven't watched it yet, go on ULTI.TV to have a look. Great game for the gold. And now let's see two of these big houses facing each other.
Well, I'm Hannah Pendlebury on the call alongside Charlotte Terrason. We are delighted to be bringing you 2 fields of coverage, live and free to watch, also on demand for, of course, your delectation. We spoke to the Italians ahead of the game. They said they've been scouting their opponents because they've been pulling up lots of tape, of course. Early season success for the French women. We saw them at Tom's Tourney. We saw them at Siege of Limerick, which, of course, they won. Indeed, wonderful campaigns all. So you see Ali Mondieu getting us underway for the French women, the powerhouse thrower that she is. Across to Anne Le Bon, Nanu, of course. This is just really patient stuff to get us going, and an immediate look for the zone for the Italians. What do you think about that, Charlotte?
Good choice. I mean, you know the weather in Limerick. Even though right now it's pretty calm, we don't have that much wind, but it's good to set it up from the beginning of the championship to make sure you know how to use it. And we have nice wall zone on the handlers, while the cutters are marking person defense.
Well, we do indeed expect there to be a lot of throwing power from this French side. It is what they most like to do. I like that as a look to try and slow them down, nullify the downfield threats. But this is really lovely movement now. Chartrain looking for options. Mondieu, oh, that's such a lovely fade reset. Beautiful touch on the disc. Inside slicer to Babiquin, the player who gets us so excited every time she takes the field. Looking for options. Back to Vallée. Chloé Vallée looks for the reach around, sends them up, flying with the fake. Cannot doubt the commitment. Oh, she goes low. Mondieu with the first assist of, I'm sure, many for this tournament. And again, it's an inside flick break for the goal.
Aline Mondieu showing that Irene Scazzieri is not the only number 18 capable of throwing those beautiful inside sidearm in the break side. Amazing shot by Mondieu. Laser to the player. We'll have had another look, and really nice motion from the French women, moving the disc around from side to side, making the cup, running all the way and finding these little holes for the cutters to get in and move the disc. A bit slow. Actually, I think it feels like they were faster against the zone than against the person defense. They had to work a bit more. It looked like this in front of the zone, in front of the end zone, but never Never mind, they did the job.
Well, I'll tell you what, Aline Montiel has just come off the pitch with a tent peg, which must have been left astray. Of course, all of our wet weather gear is, pegged into the ground about 5 different ways, because we are expecting very inclement conditions over the course of this week. Yesterday, of course, was stormy scenes for the showcase games, but the Italians talked about the wind coming into this game, and there's basically none. It's what we would describe as a thrower's wind, so ideal for this slightly shorter Italian roster, not necessarily in terms of height, but in terms of personnel that they've brought. Stefanelli goes for the reset. That's a lovely puncture into the space. Oh, quick pop movement. And the O-line captain throws the score herself. Sorrenti with the hands.
Lovely backhand. We know Sorrenti really likes these outside backhand throws. Bengi also knowing that, doesn't wait a second for the give and go, quick passes, and a beautiful shot in the end zone, well caught.
Well, I really loved the setup for that sort of the hockey assist came from Bengi, who went for that kind of quick give-go motion on this sideline, getting the disc in the hands of Sorrenti, and then the target in the end zone. The timing on that offense, considering the low level of preparation tournaments, because of course these athletes from Italy are really used to playing with each other. They talked about how, because they haven't had much of a preparation, they're going to need to be really adaptable in this game to be able to kind of make the adjustments to shut down the French, who of course have had lots of preparation. But these Italians have played together quite a lot, of course, on the club scene.
Yeah, they are used to play together, and what I think will be interesting is to see how the other players who are not necessarily teammates, like these kind of connections, see what this national team created within these different clubs' connection.
So are we going to see a like-for-like response for the French again? The Italians trying to sag off the handler set and cause confusion. Very tight coverage downfield.
Ooh.
Racing in.
She wanted to do this.
I think every player on the field wants this disc for sure. Federica Galante there trying to cause some mischief. But patience, another slicing through the zone from Mondiaux. A little bit of a stumble catch, but makes it good. One out into the space, the layout bid, but our first turnover of the game, a misconnection between 17 and 16, Anne-Cécile Frétigné and Léa Romondo.
It is the first turnover indeed. Like, both teams played pretty clean offense so far. 4th point of the game. I think it's a good one.
Do you think there was a little bit of kind of rushing towards that because of the zone slowing the offense down for France?
I think it is a bit rushing, but also they played pretty fast. They just tried to keep the pace, but at some point you have to be ready to slow down when necessary.
Well, a big sky ball plucked out of the sky by Sofia Scazzieri. Pancotti now. The defensive line of the Italians looking pretty fine. Fettel as they charge towards their first break of the game. Great rundown.
Well chased.
Perini pops it round nice and easy. Oh, that one a bit quirky out of the hands though, and throws it directly into Chloe Vallée.
Casarini with a strong backhand. We saw that this one was going fast, but unfortunately a bit too behind the player. Defense got a hand on it, and France back with the offense to get their hold.
So second effort for the French women. Nice jinking in front of the disc for Mondiaux. Le Bon realizes too late, nothing Nanu can do to rescue that. Pancotti now fakes the big backhand. It's going to go for the nice flow. This is just patient stuff. Rabaglia now, has a think, a real big think about that big backhand. Points and shoots, but throws directly into Nanu.
Good positioning from Nanu, as we usually call her. Rabaglia not seeing her big body in the way, was looking at the player behind. I mean,
Well, she pointed like, I want to throw there, and then just only threw there. But how you don't manage to see Nanu in the wide open lane, I do not know. She's a big athlete. Valet with a slinky, silky inside to Nanu. Moves it forward, Chatrin on the goal line, and it's an easy pop in the end after the overshot for the lead pass. Just a quick post into the letterbox.
Nice flow from the French women, getting their hold and showing a beautiful, like as I said, flow. I mean, they're finding always a player free, whatever position, whether it is on the break side, on the open side, in front, behind, but just keep that disc moving all the way. So we still have holds from both teams on their offense. No breaks to be seen so far. But Italians were really close to get that one with the fast counter-attack. Disc fell, they didn't wait a second. Pancotti with the disc and giving and going with Margherita Giovannini to get pretty close to the end zone, but just not enough for that last shot to score.
Well, the Italians, the first team to get anywhere near looking at a break. That turnover, heavy point comparative to the first 3 clean holds of this game. 2 turnovers apiece, but the French got it done in the end and ground it out. You kind of have to favour the French if they can manage to get the disc back off the Italians. Certainly the athletes in blue will be trying to just sneak those in when they can get them.
Well, I'm interested to see what the D-line of France would do if they get the disc. 'Cause now we had a little look at the Italian ones, which is pretty similar to the shout way of counter-attacking. Let's see now the French side with Alice Baker trying to have a bit on this disc.
Well, thus far, the O-line of the Italians has been picture perfect. Arthur Akalangi finds Bengi on the far side. That's a laser of a backhand. Scazzieri just picking up a little bit of dirt on the knees. Oh, but a streaking through French defender. Bertrand with the pickoff throws a beautiful one out into the space with the layout just for flair. Petitbon with a flurry of blue shirts around her, looks for the reset. Too much dancing, just a straight grind through. Oh, and a lovely layout save from Parentin. You can see she really wants to throw that inside break flick. Oh, it's going to hover over the end zone for such a long time, but clutched and claimed down. Well, there we go. That's what a French response looks like on defense. Ruthless.
As you say, we asked for it, we saw it. Beautiful commitment from the players, laying out for every disc to make sure they keep this break disc in possession. And we'll have another look at this point. Maëlle Barentin, with no options, chose to go for the high release. Let's have a look first at Lila Petitbon's layout to save the disc. Followed up with a second sick layout. Like pretty quick, actually, I'd say. It's not like full extension, like you win meters, but just she had less than a second to react and did it. No options, high release. I mean, when you have Alice Baker in the end zone for this air fight, it's pretty safe call. She's really good at positioning, boxing out, and get any disc in air fights. As she proved it again, really good, read the disc perfectly, despite of the weird shape of this throw.
Well, it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because you want to throw aggressively towards that break side, but that one had so much loft under it. It's a real proper trust ball. But let's see how the Italians will respond. Now, chasing against this ever so slight breeze. This is basically still conditions for a day here in Limerick. I myself got a taste of exactly what it's like to be out on these fields last year at the World Masters Championships. And I have to say, the grass underfoot is very nice considering how wet it is in the Irish summer. But Sorrenti now looking for options, pops it back, but it's a drop. Unfortunate scenes. Jenna Erkelangi was going to have to go play on defense.
Good pressure from Fiancette on the disc.
Igolier with the reset into the palms of Romley. A pick will bring us back, as you see Natalia Bocanegra Gomez with, of course, that iconic face mask just to keep herself in full health.
Rocking the style.
It is definitely a vibe, right?
It is. I mean, that is some presence on the field. You cannot miss her.
Some people have sort of that war paint look with a double black eye black, but that's a proper like war mask. A stall out is going to be called though. Just a chat between Salome Rollet and Bengi.
Uncontested stall out from Salome Rollet. Disc is retrieved by the Italians, getting their offense back and having another chance for their hold.
Arcangeli, lovely low break. And it's going to be a reception slide for Scalzieri. Have to say, he's looking way more tan than usual, of course. Currently living out on the West Coast in the States.
I'd say there's still more sun in Italy than in San Francisco, though.
I don't know.
She's always just tan, spends so much time practicing, training outside.
Oh no, but the sunshine state of California, I don't know. What do we think, folks? Get in the chat. What do you think is more sunny? Is it going to be California or is it going to be
Bologna?
Oh, Bologna, yeah.
Let us know your opinion.
But the turnover
That's
is
still
generated
Bologna.
on the far side, and the French will pick it up. Barentin, after throwing that spicy flick that hung in the end zone, that one's going to rock it downfield to Bocanegra Gomez.
Lovely.
But to Igolier, oh, quick bounce. That cut came a little bit closer towards than I think Igolier was expecting. But a conversion is what you want, but grind on the corner. And Scalzieri coming through and blocking it away. Bengi.
Yeah. Barentin fighting to get the upline, but Scalzieri really stuck to her, letting no move free.
That one going up in the pack. Great one from Sorrenti. As travel is going to bring us back, though.
Italians gotta get that hold. They've already been broken once and haven't managed to break the offensive line of France, so better keep your holds. I mean, every pound counts. Ooh, every pound.
Every point counts.
Thank you, every pound counts.
That should be a slogan for somebody. You know how like each supermarket has their own every slogan. So like every little helps for Tesco. Other superstores are of course available, but that's a superb throw. Unfortunately, no one quite near enough in the end zone to go collect it. I think she was trying to hit Simona Stefanelli, but that was a little bit too low.
Again, the back end around, but a bit too rushed this time, I'd say. I mean, the offensive line of Italy seemed to be rushing things, to be a bit imprecise, not finishing their pass, throwing difficult throws. Every player's having to throw himself to the ground to save the discs. They might try to slow down a little bit, even though that's their way of playing. If you cannot conclude, better slow down a bit. However, putting big pressure on the defense. The French always finding an open player.
Well, Elise Becquet, of course, someone who's always open. That's a beautiful, silky, smooth flick release, and she goes for the give-go. Great defense response from the Italians, but it's going to be a grind to the front cone. Pauline Rigolier closes the door on the defender and clutches another break. That's 3 in a row for the French women.
Again, the same corner, looking for the outline, and this time it worked. Another break, as you say. The French girls started their journey to breaks. And Italy calling a timeout. I think this is a good decision, how to talk and set up their offense. And we will let you with a little bit of ads.
Sunny, sunny Limerick, host of the European Ultimate Championships 2023, and it is actually legitimately sunny.
We did have sun, like real sun, not a kind of sun through the clouds. No cloud sun.
I know, we've got blue skies over pitch here in the lovely nation of Ireland, the Emerald Isle, which of course, you know, the reason it's so sparklingly emerald is the fact that the weather here is brilliant for growing vegetation, sometimes a bit challenging for playing a game of Ultimate, but we barely have a thrower's breeze this fine morning, Sunday morning, first game for both of these teams, and the Italians looking a little bit loosey-goosey out there, Charlotte.
Yeah, they just got broken 2 times. I mean, on small mistakes, nothing so big, no big defenses at all, but mistakes. And I think this timeout might help them to reset focus, to be mentally present, and know you're playing the championship, European, gotta be focused on every throw.
Absolutely, especially having missed out their opportunity to train together on the fields competitively, but that's a beautiful shot from Elena Bengi, and the swagger on that athlete after she released that peach of a backhand is real.
And here it is, the focus they needed. We talked about beautiful, perfect shots in the hands of each player. No layout needed, no big moves. Basic, boring ultimate, but working and getting a score on the Italian side, 3-4.
Well, there was a tiny bit of hustle. I think Stefanelli had to, you know, box out a little bit, but yeah, not the real grudge match tough stuff we see occasionally out here on the fields.
As the layouts we previously seen, nice layouts. Already making highlights. I like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why we bring you as many games as humanly possible, live and free to watch at your viewing pleasure, on demand as well. And of course, it allows these opponents to scout each other. So if you're watching this one at the championships itself, hello to you. And hello to you, of course, watching live. Get yourself into the live chat. Tell us where you're viewing from.
And thanks for following.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no, bang that like and subscribe button. Do all the things. Become a patron. You know the drill, folks. Mon Dieu. Against the Italian zone. This time it's a reset, stopping, flat mark at the back, and a cup to create that wall. But Nanu, the connection between Mon Dieu.
Don't let any player alone. They will find a way to get them.
Absolutely. Babiquian now. Course playing with Yaka Ultimate this year alongside Montiel. Inside shot, but the hand block! Oh yes, that is some great Italian defense. Marrero now receives on the far sideline. Kaya Pancotti charging forward. Oh, that's a beautiful backhand. It might be a tiny bit too far, so Marco closes the door on the further defender with the body. A nice idea, but a missed opportunity for the Italians.
Casarini has very strong shots. She's an amazing puller, but probably sometimes she forgets to hold her strength back.
Well, if
not shot too far.
If there'd been the wind from yesterday, that would have been perfectly weighted. Yeah. But a missed one there. I think that's going to be a foul call from Chartrand. In the back of our production tent, I think one of our prod crews just said, "I need to put some sunscreen on." This is we are getting every single season out here.
I think that the Irish and German mixed team must be very jealous of seeing what conditions other teams are playing with now. Well, yesterday, or any teams that played yesterday under the heavy rains and wind of Limerick, showed what the weather here is capable of. And then just a gentle sun, morning sun, a nice breeze.
I know, it's absolutely gorgeous. This is enviable conditions. A long discussion here on the pitch to get action replays of what happened. But to wind our tape back, I agree with you, John Doc, in the comments. Sorry, the live chat even, not the comments, because they come after the show. That throw across the top of the ends of the zone, to Le Bon from Mondiaux was absolutely delicious. The shutdown completely with the defenders to nullify that reset. Such vision. Cheeky stuff from Pancotti.
Everyone wants
Oh,
this.
but what a layout from Babican! That was dirty.
Oh,
Mondiaux with a ripper of a backhand. Can she get it over the goal line? No, not quite. Langlois looking for options, and it's an easy one in the end. Elisabeth Retignier with the goal.
that shot. Did you see this release from Mondiaux? She went for the full, she wanted that full back and outside and got the defense blocking it and just kept the backhand move and went for the inside. Perfectly released. I mean, we know Mondiaux, her throwing skills, but still so beautiful to see.
There's a reason why Mondiaux sounds so much like Mon Dieu. My God, that was good.
Oh, Mondiaux.
It's the Frisbee equivalent, right? That's basically like saying,
Basically,
like
French goddess.
a prayer to the Frisbee gods, Mon Dieu.
And can we have another look at Amia? Exactly, look at this layout defense. No second to think, just throw your body. There's a frisbee. You want that frisbee? Well, here's my body in the way. Babican for the defense for the French women, holding their hold, getting their holds.
Well, but they took, 4 attempts to do it. They had
Oh,
3
they did.
turnovers in that point. Of course, the Italians getting so very, very close.
Again, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, can they get it? They're going to have to just go for the hold here as we creep ever closer to the half. Of course, these games, 100 regulation minutes, timed halves at 50, and a 15 overall point cap. Lovely low one from Bengi, but a bit of confusion there, perhaps. Just the missed.
A lot of bodies, maybe.
Well, it was clean for Laffy. I think just, again, the Italians, I don't know, maybe they need a different breakfast ritual. Because they have not come out in the quality that we are so used to seeing from them in this matchup. Rigolier. Just easy resetting for the French women. That one is a little bit gas, but well kept. Richard with the around that's going to dribble into the turf. This is a real moment for the Italians. Another opportunity for a defensive break. Oh, that's a gorgeous backhand, but it's going to be way too far. Again, the Italians just need to hold the disc for 1 or 2 more seconds, Charlotte.
I totally agree with you, Hannah. That was a good idea, but the rushing of the action made the throw maybe go another way than what was expected. Disc flying away from the runner cutter. This is really hard to chase. And I do think, as you do, that they should just take few passes more and not rush it into the end zone straight away.
Well, a game of pinball for one on her own goal line for Juliette Bertrand. Make sure that one stays firmly in her hands, and a zone against the French going upwind.
Yeah, we start to have some wind.
Well, I mean, we've had a little bit of a breeze the whole game, but you'll see in the back of the shot there, the flag's barely fluttering. In fact, I think the Ukraine flag is almost, oh no, there you go, a little bit of movement, but basically still for a flag. Lambolet with a pop to Rigolier. Gets it back, but nothing really able to puncture through. Just going for the give and goes. Rigolier almost wearing Elena Scazzieri. Bertrand moves in. Oh, that's a nice little bit of puncture, but doesn't quite spear through to the back set just yet. Bocanegra Gomez just stretching the field into the deep space. That's a lovely one across.
It's actually pretty fun to see the whole line setting a zone defense. Kind of unusual.
Well, they've got such fantastic players. Actually, you can really do that. The Frisbee IQ of both of these teams combined, I mean, we must be talking well into the thousands.
Yeah, I think a lot of both teams' players are capable of doing both. They are ambivalent, yeah, and able to do defense, offense, zone, person, whatever you need. And it's actually pretty hard then to decide where to put these players. Like, should they go on offense? Should they go on defense? I mean, for example, Bangi, she's an amazing offensive player, but a sick D player as well.
Well, with Bengi, I would definitely put her as the anchor of my D-line, if she felt that way. I haven't ever asked her, is she the kind of player that vibes off, you know, which side of the disc? You have players, certainly mentality-wise, that like to do defense over offense, or, you know, they like that more calm, controlled environment of an O-line. That one, though, not calm and controlled at all. Bertrand nearly ends up with it back in her own hands. This is going to be so nicely weighted, though. An absolute beauty, just falls in front. The bid is there, but a discussion about a potential foul call with Bocanogra Gomez.
And Sorrenti didn't seem happy. Her face showed that something's wrong, and I guess she got hit on the arm while trying to release the backhand. Let's have a look on this layout, but just a bit too far, too low.
Well, that got sort of almost pushed a little bit extra by the wind, you know, when it sort of just drops in midair.
Yeah.
But that was all about the throw. It did look pretty good. Certainly went to a very similar spot to, I think, has Gaia. No, that's not Pancotti. It's Sorrenti, of course. Intended.
I looked the other day. I looked because somebody responded to
Both players asking for an opinion from the sideline.
You have replay.
We'll see if our camera caught it. If we can be of use, of service.
So have oh.
The replay, our replay starts a little bit after that one, so we didn't quite catch the contact. So a contested foul will be the resolution. A fair outcome. Of course, the vast majority of Ultimate games are played without any of our assistance in terms of our camera views. So go into the true way of this self-officiated sport.
So let's see if Sorrenti will have another chance to hug that backhand around as she loves to. But usually it is in the move of the play, after a swing, after a give and goes. So she will need to find another player probably.
Well,
I
the
mean,
Italian
Bolognese is pretty
I was going
long.
to say, they're currently overloaded with two players with basically no mark, and indeed, the first one to Bolognese. Lovely movement.
Strusha with the disc to Bangi.
And around, Arcangeli. Bit of dancing from Scazzieri, but a nice flash from the mark to stop it. Bolognese again. There's a lot of poaching off into the lanes from the French women. Scazzieri now on the goal line. Oh, what a lovely curvature on that one. Finds the streaking target in the end zone. And that's the hold for the Italians that they desperately needed.
Love the angle of this shot, the way it flew. That was almost weird, let's say. Didn't go flat, didn't go outside the inside, but rather like an air bounce, you know, angled but towards the player, the target, and perfectly executed. Nice pivot outside, stretching to reach the throw for a goal. Italy with their hold.
So,
here is Limerick's weather. Here it is back. Some lovely rain to refresh the players.
yeah, just move my electrical equipment a little bit further inside our tent. Not the level of weather we're going to have to close up our tent door, as it is. It's almost like a shower curtain, this thing, which has got a really big hole in the top of it. So we were really feeling the conditions yesterday. I think I said it was like, because the way that the weather just appears here in Limerick, it's almost out of nowhere. It slaps you like a wet fish. But at the moment, the Italians looking to try and grind it back. An overshot for the French women. Capucci capitalising. Rabaglia just getting a disc snuck away from Babiquian.
That was a close
Pancotti
one.
goes up high. Anelli, sorry. Just moving into Nanu in a bit too much of a flustery fashion.
Nanu unhappy with being pushed away by the pivot of Arnelli. Let's see if the Italians are more patient this time in front of the end zone. That is usually the moment the D-line overshoots.
Indeed, they have a bit of end zone eyes, you know, that kind of just a little bit too much haste.
Too much excitement, let's say. They're so excited, they want to play fast. And
well, they do like that fast counter-attack. Pancotti, lovely one out to Tarabagli, but it's just going to be a little bit too far for her layout form. Montio ripping up a backhand, but that one is way out of contention. Fabian's very fast, but she's not that inhuman. So a full field stretch for the Italians.
They have to go back the whole field.
Casarini. That one going to be picked off though. Excellent eyes from the French. Chatrin looking for options. That's going to just bump out of the hands though. A clap of doom for Aline Mondiaux. What a tussle this is becoming in this match. Casarini, oh, just going and tumbling an action roll for the young Italian. Mondiaux just trying to chill everything off. Into Valet. It's a nice easy pass. There's a lot of contact from some of these marks, but the French happy to play through it, and a slicing flick again. The inside forehand break pays off for the French and finds Elisabeth Fletinier for another goal. 6-4.
And that was a lot happening in few minutes, not even minutes. So many turns. We have another look at the last shot for the goal for the French line. Beautiful inside, but again, few turnovers, a lot of rushing, no waiting, and even though the weather starts to be rising, like the wind rising, made of rain, and players have to adapt to this. You cannot keep throwing the same throws, you have to adapt to the wind, you have to be careful with the slippery disc due to the water of the rain. But they still kept their pace and didn't wait a second. Both teams playing a fast, quick ultimate, which I personally kind of like. This no time to lose, don't wait for the defense to set up and attack quickly. But at sometimes it can be also frustrating when you're trying to cut or there's a mess because no one's ready. This can be also risky, but
well, another D-line coming out for the French women. It's a lovely pull. All the athletes will have to be a bit mindful that that sort of dusting of rain upon us is going to make things a little bit more slippery out there. Stefanelli, the far sideline. Throws a centering pass, but it's a block. Potentially a bit too much touching. Scazzieri calling the foul on Lele Petitbon.
Have another look on this one. Petitbon taking a step forward, one more step than Scazzieri, but maybe the contact was too much.
Elise Becker coming in and doing some translation work. Looks to be just a question about positioning and the use of arms. It looked relatively clean, but of course we're completely behind the play on this side of the field.
I mean, Scazzieri did need to take a step in the direction of Petitbon to be able to catch this. So, on our clear point of view, clean here, from the other side of the field, no idea how much contact there was.
Well, if you'd like us to have consistently all of the angles for your viewing pleasure, if you want to, have 6 camera setups, feel free to consider becoming a patron, because if you patronize us, become one of our Patreon subscribers, to give us monthly income, we invest every single penny into our ultimate coverage, folks. And we could bring you those scenes. So you can feel like a Look, you're out here on the field yourself. Sorrenti with the centering pass to Arcangeli, who's going to arc it out in front, and unfortunately too far for Sorrenti to collect. The response now from the French, a little stumble from Barentin. But lovely jinking movement. Nearly brings in an extra bit of collateral, does Bocanegra Gomez. Oh, that's going to fire out the cannon. But what a collection. The redemption teammate, Elise Becquet.
Scaceri with the one hand on the disc, but Rollet kept the possession.
Lovely movement in the backfield. This is great work from the Italian defense, though, putting all the pressure in the world. Bengi immediately picking up Arcangeli.
That's what I say, quick counterattack. They don't wait a second.
Absolutely ruthless, diabolical throws. Bengi with another assist, absolutely beautifully weighted. It looks like Stefanelli. It is indeed with the goal.
Let's have another look. Oh, at the replay if we have it. But anyway, that shot from Bengi, really nice put. Whatever wind there is, she still managed to give the proper angle and have a nice look at this. Nice outside.
Well, it was a lovely shot. I'm not sure if our replay is bringing it to you, but certainly a really lovely, and just that is exactly the mentality, that switch off, that switch on of Bengi. That is what you want, regardless of whether you're in offense or defense, right? You want to be picking up the disc or picking up your mentality to play the other way immediately. Turn on a dime, as they say.
And now again, we will have Italy trying to get a break, because right now we are at 5-6. France is 2 points away from the halftime, taking the halftime with already, how many? They had 2 breaks that Italy needs to catch up, and now is the job of this D-line, strong D-line, putting up a zone defense again. A bit more wind, maybe that might work better, but we know exactly that Mondial likes to find the holes wherever possible, and she will aim at them.
Really, real world-class thrower is Mondial. It's no surprise to anybody. Of course, we've known about her for a very, very long time, but it almost just feels like she just gets better and better as the seasons go on. Just nice movement now through the centre pocket. Montour, that 16 working the crash space well. Nanu now. Just patience for the French women. The lefty throw Langlois over to Samarco. Mondiaux with a little bit of shapeliness on that cut just to get herself available. Really attacking the around break side, fakes, puts one up into the sky that gets picked off by the defense. That's a really great bit of work from Maria Marrero.
Marrero, unexpected to arrive, by Mondiaux didn't wait this one, but run and jump, throwing her body in all directions. Just as long as the disc is tipped, job is done. Great defense.
Well, a tall athlete, 178 centimeters, or 5'10" in old money. We're certainly using that height to her great advantage twice in a row. That's a beautiful lead for Galante, but unfortunately just slips away. So again, the Italians coming up short, yet to score a break in this game so far. Samarco. This would make it definitely an 8-point half. Of course, we do have time halves at 50 minutes, halfway through the regulation time slots here at this European Championships. Firing it up line. It's low but well caught by Fratinier. Slightly quirky, and it's going to be in the hands of the Italians. Galant. Oh, but I'll tell you what, I think the wind might have picked up a little bit the way that one fell out of the hands.
This was weird fly. Just went so quickly and higher all of a sudden.
Well, that was sailing too far, but Bobby Kian backs it up. Such an exciting player to watch. You can really see the attitude. Not the best poker player, but really good at ultimate is Amand Babican, I'm sure. That's a lovely arcing pass into the end zone for Le Bon Nanu, picking up the goal. The Italians looking very deflated at the end of that one. I think a power line. No, actually, I tell a lie. That's a break. They weren't pulling people across. That was a break for the French.
I think that was the Italian D-line.
Oh, okay, hold on.
That was the Italian D-line.
Oh, that was the Italian D-line.
That's a hold. But anyway, Raimondo had a beautiful outside sidearm flying above the defense, perfectly shot.
Well, if that was the Italians on defense, sorry, then that is indeed a power line, I think, because you had the O-line captain, Sorrenti, on the field. But the score 7-5. And it looks like we may have had our timed half taken a little bit early, or a timeout. We're going to figure ourselves out, but we'll be back with the action. The Italians currently trailing to the French 7-5.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
First half action, timeout being called. Gave us a little bit of confusion there. Was look at our scoreboard being like, what's that? But a French hold taking us to 7-5, and we are indeed going to have a half-time at 8. Half of this game has expired, so we really are dragging out these points compared to how we thought this game might happen in the early stages, where we saw 3 clean holds to begin us off. Of course, the Italians starting on offense with the wind at their backs, and those 2 French breaks in the midsection of this first half, Charlotte.
2 breaks, and Italy didn't manage to score 1 on their side. So Frenchies are keeping their advantage, a good advantage, 7-5. You want to keep that for the second half.
Absolutely, and if they can grab themselves a break here, of course, they start out the second half on offense as well. So they are going real feisty for it. Becky flying her legs around, trying to best her matchup. Arcangeli looking around, resets. Bolognese. Oh, that's such a ripper of a backhand break. Finding Scazzieri, who rips the disc away.
That stretch.
Absolutely. Petit Bon got the layout. Well, I tell you what, layout. Form absolutely picture perfect for Fiancette, but not quite enough to bounce the disc away from the blue shirt. That one is going to be good, though. A clean D. Just sneaking away, Petit Bon.
Petit Bon really giving a hard time to Scazzieri to get free already earlier with a foul, but very close to the defense. And this time, no foul to be seen.
Oh, absolutely. She was bodily very, very far away from her matchup, but the arm stretched out and flopped the disc away. Oh, that one is a bit spicy for Rigolier. Now Becky.
And France has the disc for the half.
Indeed. That one sails over to Petitbion. Tell you what, some of these reset passes from the French are just such beautiful shaping. That one, though, Scazzieri with the initial block and the second defensive effort as well on Becquet. Talk about keeping your heads up. We have seen the wind rise a little bit out here on the fields in Limerick as we reach towards 10 a.m. local time. Oh, that's a lovely one across from Sorrenti to Bengi and into the end zone.
The wind picking up this one, I think, just carrying it out of bounds.
Well, that would have been another connection from Bengi to Stefanelli. The two of those, I think, have been responsible for at least 2 of the goals for the Italians so far. That connection, 37-24. But that time not to be.
French starting on horizontal stack. Dabin with the first cut.
Oh, the French looking pretty dynamite now. Pops it through. Oh, sneaky bit of cutting in the handler space. A call upfield I don't think affected that throw to Petitbon, but we might see it come back.
Discussion about when the call happened. So this will be checked in again. Players taking place. And Italy in dangerous position, really need to get the disc back to hold their offense, because this is again a halftime disc for France.
Well, of course, the Italians will rest easy if they manage to get this one back. Of course, this early stages for the women's division, sort of not the most meaningful games in the world, but that's a lovely pass from Arcangeli into Scazzieri for the goal, keeping this half alive. One more point.
At least. They kept that one. They still want to play in the first half. I mean, obviously, they'd like to take that first half because we know they started on offense, which means they're going to start the second half on defense. Better score and take the half then.
So talking about the format here for the women's division, Charlotte, how do you feel about this kind of pool to power pool situation? Because we initially start out in Pool D for these 3 teams, the French, the Italians and the Polish. Then we go through to the winner of this pool. We'll go through to Pool F, which continues to a set of power pools. So it's a really quirky way through. I know obviously trying to keep the women's division with plenty of game time. Obviously all the teams here play the same fees to come to the European Championships, but it does make these early stage games a little bit less meaningful.
Yeah, it feels like you always get redemption, unlike the mixed division where every point counts. I got it this time. Here the women's division is more chill. I mean, always you'd rather be first in your pool to get easier games then, or just have like a general ranking easier, but still to motivate your players. At the same time, you're starting the championship. I mean, who's not excited to play? You want to give it all for every game.
Absolutely, but it does give the Italians, of course, having not had too much preparation tournament into this season for the European Ultimate Championships, it gives them a bit of an advantage in terms of, trying to figure out their systems. At the moment, it's just been a couple of unforced errors where they've just seen the kind of lack of focus, but the French are, again, going against this Italian zone and just moving the disc nicely. Of course, a visionary shot from Mondiaux. Do
What
we
else?
expect anything less? Fabiquian through to Valet. And that's lovely work, slightly quirky there for Nanu, but well held. just really trying to patiently thread their offense together. A lovely around backhand break. Mondiaux now gestures to Valet, throws across, and that's a drop just shy of the end zone, or that might have been a score. There is a call somewhere else on the field, depending on how far away that was in time. I'm not sure that affected Charlotte.
I cannot tell. I don't even know what. Oh, it is stall out, so it does affect. This must go back uncontested stall out.
And accepted, yeah, accepted. So that will come. It's just a slightly shorter field for the Italians.
Yeah, I mean, winning 5 meters maybe, but that's maybe one pass less, which you take it. Just take whatever you can take, because that is a chance for a break. And this backhand around again.
Beautiful shot downfield from Sorrenti, really opened up the space. Now she has it again, but throws too far in front. An elegant attempt from Casarini, but that just tipples into the grass. So a full field stretch now required for the French to close off this half and maintain that 3-point lead. Or 2-point lead, sorry. 6-7 currently the score of the Italians trailing. Mondiaux. Push pass, cheeky, I like it, to Raimondo. It's a very tight cut, but the jogging from the French women doesn't inspire too much. Amon Babiquian keeping her eyes on that one. Lovely take with a catch high. Mondiaux. with the flustering arms.
A little hug.
Arnelli, sorry. Nanu.
The Italians are back on person defense on the cutters, but Valet doesn't care and just gets free whenever needed.
Nanu popping back. Again, the French still are just very flat-footed on the heels. Mondiaux with another opener though. Why use your legs if you can just use the disc with beautiful throws like that? Well, because the Italians are playing some feisty defense, especially now that we melt to match coverage. Person, defense, a little bit of a chat on the mark between Valet and Sorrenti.
Apparently a foul call. But I want to say it must be really nice to be a cutter in the French team against the zone when you have Mondiaux not hesitating and just throwing whatever throws is needed.
Well, I tell you what, the weather conditions, if they turn back to what we saw yesterday, will make that a lot harder for Mondiaux. She might take a few of those choices off the table. Now trying to look for the reset. Valet's just going to have to put something into the end zone. It's Babiquian, opens up the arm. Another chat about a potential stall out perhaps, but a pick somewhere else.
Pick call in the stack, but doesn't affect the game apparently.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that one. It was very much Babiquian indicating what space she wanted to hit. Valet hitting it elsewhere on the pitch. The pick, some players saying that it did impact things. Not sure I agree with that.
I mean, Babiquian's defense was definitely following her there. And I doubt that someone from the stack could have had the disc in this break side. But let's have maybe a replay, see what happened. Players who got involved in the peak were not in the run of the action. So, from my point of view, that is definitely not affecting. It should be a goal, but let's see what the players on the field decide, and apparently it goes back.
Well,
What
what we think is completely irrelevant, Charlotte, but I agree with you. I think that play from Babiquian was off, but a violation call, that is a stoppage, so that one definitely will come back. Mondiaux gets a little bit of a get out of jail free card there on the drop.
I mean, Italy calling themselves a violation while their teammates are defending. I mean, it's fair. You called it before, and
yep, and it's a proper
what
stoppage.
happens. Yes.
Well, we got an action replay, but that one is taken away. Elena Perini with the block.
Oh,
I thought that was a block straight back for Chetinier. That one, though, is going to be taken away. Nanu closes the door on Pancotti. So a short field to punch this one in for half, 8-6. Montiot swaggering towards the disc. Petitbon isolated in the front pack. Back to Valet. Bourne saying, I'm available on the far side. Nanu, indeed, being poached off gratuitously, throws it into Ali Mondiot's chest, and that will be half, folks. 8-6 for the French.
I don't know if it's the perspective, but it looked like a very tiny window to throw that one. Rabalia was very close to the defense, but Alonio just took one step forward with her arms as well to just secure the disc is hers, and also French's disc for the half. This is 8-6, as you say. Italy gonna start on defense though.
Indeed, it is going to be a get one extra for the French potentially. Coming out on offense into the second half. It was a couple of tries required. Again, we haven't seen a clean hold since the score took us to 4-3, for the French. But we'll take a break here in the booth as well, folks. But don't go anywhere. This game continues after these messages.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
our
work
work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Half-time here as we see the Italians trying to come back in this game against the French. It's pool play in the women's division, Pool D in front of us, but some score updates from across the fields here. We also have a very intense game in the women's division against the Germans, against the Swedes. Currently 8-6 at half as well. So a mirror image of this game. So the other women's game again, also on field 14, the Czech Republic currently 9-8 over the Swiss. So that one back in action in the second half. But we're of course bringing you coverage on our other live stream field, so you can have double device action. What game are we featuring over there, Charlotte?
We got Lithuania facing Poland, and as you say, we have tight game as well. Poland leading over Lithuania 10-9. It's only one score away, and no idea who's on offense or defense right now. But if you want to know, you can go watch the streaming and have all the informations needed. While we're staying here with France, Italy, only amazing games happening everywhere on every pitch here in Limerick. With again some sun, and we'll get some other showers and sun, I guess, along the day.
Well, I say ambitiously, my part of my skincare regimen, because of course, being outside all day as ultimate commentators, I always put my sunscreen on. But this morning and yesterday morning, it felt a little bit, surplus to requirements. Daily moisturizer with SPF in, highly recommend it. It's very good for your skin overall. Looking at the stats of this game, though, sunshine breaking through 2 breaks for the French women, but the chances that the Italians have had 2 extra, and they've managed to convert none of them, Charlotte.
A lot of break chance. Yes, indeed, 12. That is a lot. And as we see also the clean holds, we have 3 for the Italians, 1 for France, only 1. I thought they would put more, but they had their breaks. That is fair enough. And those clean holds are actually the 4 first points of the game. All of them. And then we went to the turnover zone.
Yeah, so it was the Italians who turned the French the first time that point that were at 2-2, took us to 2-2, that had 2 turnovers. It was 2s across the board. The score was 2-2 after it, and there were 2 turnovers apiece for that one for the French women. Of course, eventually they've had 2 clean attempts in this game, 1 clean hold and 1 clean break, of course, to get their charge of 3 points on the board on the roll. But they'll come out on offense with the win behind them in the second half, having, of course, done the curious thing of choosing defense, having won the toss.
I mean, if you choose defense, then in this kind of situation, as we see here, when you get to break, you're happy to start with offense, especially mentally. For the opposite team, it's really hard to be behind and still start with the defense on second half and have to get 1 more break on the scoreboard if you want to get a chance to win the game.
It's an interesting mentality, though, because also if you're thinking about kind of that energy when you get a D-line that are rolling. So obviously they might have not played the most points in the first half if your offensive line is having to come out, if you're conceding breaks, because obviously your O-line is starting to try and sort of punch those in. But the mentality that coming out on defense can sometimes do is actually generate that momentum, generate that kind of, all right, well, we're down. We've got nothing to lose. Let's go hell for leather in this point and go and get ourselves a block. So we'll see what happens in this second half.
I don't think the Italians will have this mentality. I think I don't know what the speech was, but they definitely, just as we saw, had 12 break chances. So there's just a problem of converting these chances into breaks. And it's just, as we said, like 1 last pass missing.
Indeed, they are just getting a little bit of the old end zone eyes. That one's ripped out of the sky by Mondiaux. Really intense, close defense from Casarini. Chloé Vallée now. Feathery fakes, finds Langlois. One of the few lefties on this French women's side. That one's going to sail past Mondiaux. There is an attempt, a look at it from Chartrain from the backfield, seeing if she could make the recovery, but that's a lot of steps for that big backhand huck, I tell you that for nothing.
Yeah, I was also expecting the trouble to be called.
Yeah, and here it is. It did get called. Just wasn't quite communicated soon enough, but that was a little bit of loose footwork. What a shame for Marrero.
Yeah, that was a nice power position shot, though.
Oh, no, it's exactly the right throw. If you just have a slightly better footwork, that would have stood, and it would have been a beautiful opportunity for Giovanni on the goal line.
And that would be the break to start the second half. That's pretty good way, as we were saying, in the game of mentality. Whew, good catch from Pancotti.
Rabaglia now, this time a backhand huck of her own. The players clustering underneath it, and it's a break to start us off. The celebration immediately into the face of Scazzieri. Well, we talk about spikes being disc collateral, but that's teammate collateral. Goodness gracious me. Margherita Giovanni celebrating directly into the face of Irene Scazzieri. Less of that, please.
Amazing catch from Giovannini. Beautiful position. 2 defenders, she still made it out. But in the happiness and celebration, injuring her own players. Anzi Canzieri is strong. It's going to be okay, but...
She whacked it.
Dangerous.
She whacked it literally straight into her face. Like, this is the thing about kind of, celebrating your scores, right? Okay, say what you want about the spike versus no spike debate. Definitely, you always, like you're in the play, you have to be really mindful of who's around you. And that's a great example of, also when you're celebrating, be mindful of who else is around you. Oh, well, that's a bit redonkulous. But that will do for a break for the Italians. Get themselves back into this game, 8-7.
That's why people usually throw their spikes straight to the ground or high in the air. Don't throw it that close. Anyway, the break, as you say, we're here, 8-7. First break for Italy, and it's on the second half as they really need to step up. Ooh.
So a lovely pull really deep into the French defending end zone. Sammarco. Back to Valet. And again, the Italians throwing a zone look at the French. It has generated turnovers thus far. Mon Dieu. Oh, that's a nice inside flick. Nice and flat, Sammarco being patient. But the temptation to just hoof it into the wind must be quite high. Being pinned on their own goal line. A lovely low release. Now a little bit of expansion on the far side. Raimondo. Real discipline from the French women. Mondiaux directing Babiquian. Matching up. Oh, but the confusion. A miss. Swing and a miss. A little bit too much touch there, but all smiles.
We got some feet stepped on.
Yeah, Casarini will keep the disc. Well, I'll tell you what, this will swing us straight back on serve and may make the French regret starting the game on defense by choice. Rabaglia. Beautiful pass, plenty of air underneath it, and a great catch, Elena Perini. Just about keeps hold of it. Goodness gracious.
I didn't see, but the back of the end zone line is over there. She really had to get that footwork working to keep the disc inbounds. 2 Italian players there present for the score, and Perini made it out with the disc. Nice catch above everyone, still inbounds. And another break.
Well, it turns out maybe I'm right. The Italian D-line coming out, being so feisty, making the most of their opportunities. I think they've managed to adjust to the breeze, the wind conditions out here on the field. And we are back on serve, folks. 8-8 in this game.
Yes, their zone defense has been working much better now. I don't know if it's their pressure, they adapted, or is it the wind, or what happened on the pitch. But the French women are struggling a bit more now to get free to find these players. We don't have those fancy throws, like interesting visions as we had before, probably due to the wind. As you were saying, like the temptation is here, but you know the wind is also here, so better stay consistent.
Well,
however, every mistake will be punished.
What it really is so far in this second half, those are 2 clean breaks for the Italian D-line.
They had 0 in the first half, and now starting the second with 2 clean ones.
Well, that feisty, fiery demon. Well, we've got nothing to lose attitude, and the French perhaps maybe starting to lose a little bit of concentration. That was a missed connection. But a pull just inbounds for the Italians, shooting into this gentle Limerick breeze. Valet, centre field. Again, I'd like to see a little bit more pace from the cuts of the French. It's almost like they're expecting that zone.
I mean, it's been a few points. I think now they're kind of ready to whatever defense will arrive. They know how to adapt. They must have talked about it.
The isolation for Mondiaux. Stall out call, contested by Valet. I have to say, across the fields, on every surface, I have noticed there's been a lot of fast counting this season, Charlotte.
There is, I mean, sometimes you have 5 seconds, we watch for 5 seconds and it's already stalled out. Like, what is happening? Oh.
Well, a drop for Chartrand. This is a flip reversi of the first half where we saw so many Italian unforced errors. Oh, look at the freedom, the space, but the disc over the head. No foul call, so a clean D.
Very floaty disc.
Yeah, Morero had done all the hard work, sneaking away into the backfield, but still the full stretch now required for the French to respond to. Mondiaux. Babiquian streaking away into the deep space. That was a little bit of a late bid, slightly ill-advised, but all fine. Barini doing everything she can to try and get that third break on the bounce. Langlois. Again, where is the energy from the French women? This is nice flow when it gets moving, but it takes a while to generate. Nanu in the end zone, though. The connection between Mondiaux and Le Bon is just a thing of thrill.
And just the thing this all I needed to finally get that score, to have a first point in the second half. As you say, where is the energy? I don't know if it's the French energy that is missing or if it's the Italian energy that intensified and got really fired up with these two breaks, and also why they had those breaks.
Well, that will inject a little bit of oxygen back into the tank for the French. 9-8 leading in this game.
This Yaka connection, you know it's coming. They exactly know what each other is looking for and what to do. There's no even thinking, just that's my mate. Let's go.
Well, that's another stat to add to the tally for Anne Le Bon. Currently 2 blocks, 1 assist and 1 goal in this game. She's playing a very long career, 13 years, but started in her 30th year. So that'll give you a secret way of displaying her age. But of course, age is but a number. She's a sport teacher for children with disabilities and a gymnastics coach. And if you follow her on Instagram, I tell you what, you really see some of her gymnastic exploits that keep her in fine condition out here on the fields.
Very impressive. Don't hesitate to send her challenges. She really likes that.
Absolutely. So Lena Bengi with a challenging catch of her own, really trying to squeeze through that reset pass, and does so. Arcangeli now forward to Stefanelli. Bengi coming through behind to rescue. Lovely break to Sorrenti. A little bit of clustering that nearly got picked off. Arcangeli trying to direct traffic. It's an inside pass. Sorrenti with the layout goal. Yes!
What a one-hand grab layout. Amazing. The disc flying, almost flying away, and Sorrenti catching it casually. Amazing layout. Beautiful. Let's have a look again. Arcangeli going with the inside to reach the break side. And Sorrenti timing her layout just properly to not let time for the Frisbee to fly away from her and get out of her hands. Make sure you get that score, and it is a point for Italy.
Indeed, Sorrenti's been playing for 13 years, so exactly the same number of years as the player we highlighted from the French women previously, Nanu. Bologna girl through and through, home and current city, but only ever played for BFD Shout in her club career. She's a European champion from the under-20s division back in 2011, Charlotte.
She did play a bit with Milano's team, while being there for a year or a bit more, but just casually playing, practicing and coaching a little bit, I think. but definitely still playing the season with shouts.
So the French looking to respond and retain their 1-point lead in this match. It looked during the first half like this one was going to be taken away cleanly by the French, but the grind out of the Italian blocks in the second half has changed the nature of the shape of this game. It's another zone though. You have to kind of think that maybe the Italians will start to be figured out by this French O-line. Le Bon looking completely unfrazzled. Throws that pass up the line to Frétigné. Now a melt to match. Person downfield, Alisa Marco. Pick will bring us back. So back in play. Samarco pinned. Oh, the hand block. But the foul is going to be called. Got a bit too much of the palm, but you could hear that from here. Capucci.
Yeah, it is a contested foul. And on the other side of the pitch, I don't know exactly the score, but we hear some intense sideline. Must be getting pretty close. It was already close, 10-9, but...
Well, I can tell you what, if you shout like that on the pitch behind us, you're going to lose your voice by the end of the week. And of course, we commentators have to be very cognizant of that moment. An elevator, high rise, flick score for the French. Mondiaux and Babican connecting to make it 10-9.
Sidearm, high release, very fancy, beautiful. And I think the defense had a hand on this one, though. It got tipped, a bit wobbly disc. To reach the end of Babican. We'll have another look at this one. Let me know what you think. Seeing the free player, and yeah, it is almost touched.
I don't know. It's a difficult one because it's that when you when you sort of fly your arms out like that. I think Rabaglia just maybe grazed the molecules of air around the disc. I don't think she got a piece of it, but I love the creativity as always from Mondiaux.
Whatever it takes to reach the break side. She got a full, panel of tools, of throws to be able to reach any places on the field. We've seen the inside sidearm, now it's the high release sidearm, getting high and low every direction.
Well, it's like some people, you know, they turn up with like one toolbox, right? Like that's how many tools they've got in their kit. That's how many throws they can throw that are game ready, a high level for this elite championship. But some people, they turn up with a van that has like this expanding shelf situation. It's all on hydraulics. And that's the level of toolkit that Mondiaux has. It's like something you could basically sleep in it overnight. That's how big the tool set is. It's an entire truck.
Is there anything missing in it?
No. I'm going to go with no because I am completely cognizant of how much Mondiaux prepares for these events and how long she's been playing and being committed to the sport and is a proper Frisbee nerd, which we love.
I mean, it's about the throws, but also the confidence, the knowledge, the insurance of I know what the good decision is and making them, taking them, and the responsibility that comes with it.
Absolutely. Well, a decision I don't much enjoy is this big poach off of Francesca Sorrenti from Juliette Bertrand. She is flashing well. She has the recovery speed to get and apply the mark. But danger player to have with the disc in hand. Arcangeli now finds Sorrenti. And see, exactly. What did I tell you, folks? She's a danger player to allow to have the disc at any moment. Bengi on the other side of it. Zucha into Scazzieri, who celebrates that one with just popping the disc on the floor. But that was all about that inside ripper to Bengi from Francesca Sorrenti.
Very fast adaptation after the big hug. I mean, it's always a risky situation having a big hug like this. Bengi obviously finding the free space and getting this disc, but you don't want to rush at this moment. you want to play safe, and they still manage to gain meters by meters and reach finally Scatieri for this goal. Very fast released after the goal.
Yeah, not quite the clap spike, which of course means that it's not a goal. Just if anyone was wondering, it's a bit of a throwback to, I think, the 2018 season when the clap spike was very popular. If you clap catch a disc and then immediately drop it, it is not considered a possession. You've just gotten yourself out of a goal. But yeah, nearly two, but not quite a clap spike situation.
Frustration.
Oh yeah, well people thought it looked cool, right? And then the rules committee were like, yeah, no, that's not okay.
Yeah, it's always weird. You never know if someone had full possession or if it's like, because it can happen that you clap the disc and drop it. I mean,
yep. Well, that's exactly the thing, which you can do, of course, on defense. You can clap spikers all you want if you're making a defensive effort. You have to do 1 or 2 full Frisbee moves, which, of course, is a reference to the NFL for you multi-sport fans. Langlois, again, the Italians now back with the zone. Mondiaux hanging out upfield, being just person marked by Giovannini. And even without the disc in hand, Mondiaux barking orders from this near sideline, right in front of our camera ops. Just saying, yep, throw it backwards, but that one is going to escape the begloved palm of Frétinier. An opportunity here to put themselves in front for the Italians. Can they just be patient enough? Flying defense, so they grab just shy of the end line, perhaps. No, a travel call will bring it back potentially to Beatrice Sisana.
Too bad, because that jump was really nice. High catch and still jumping to get in the end zone straight away to not need another pass.
So also a very high stall situation. Dishes back to Pancotti. Dream situation for the Italians. Oh, it's a lovely give go. They're set up, but too casual. How could you? Giovannini only going with one hand with nobody on the shoulder. Charlotte, no!
But it didn't look to you a bit out of bounds, like she was close to the line. Because have you seen how she wanted to go for a second shot, like second try, and just stopped? And I think this is because the disc was flying way too much out of bounds.
Well, it looked to me like she could have gone off on the first opportunity with 2 hands, which I always am a fan of. Even if the other offhand bumps it out your hand, going and trying with 2, training that in the majority of the situations, I feel is the way to go. But a jailbreak through the jaws of the zone. Langlois just trying to keep it calm. Nice one through the centre though to Frétinier. Oh, what vision. That one's going to not connect though. You can see the dismay all over the body language of Le Bon.
Very deceived, I think, because she knows how to throw that. We know she knows, and probably just gonna use that disappointment for the defense.
Well, not a situation where the French can scream "Allez les Bleus." Of course, the Italians in the blue get-ups. I love the matching jerseys and shorts. That is a very strange choice indeed. Everyone pretty much clustering under the disc together, and that falls, of course, in the hands of Nanou.
That must have been directives from the coaching, I think.
not the
because otherwise we would hear them way more on the sideline.
Yes, possibly. So Langlois underneath it, and that will keep the lead for the French. They hold on just about 11-10.
Yes, as I was saying, I think this decision was made by the coaching, saying that they need to hawk it if they're near their end zone for this D-line, because otherwise we hear them much louder. Diego, one of the coaches, I can tell you he can be loud when unhappy. And here must be the tactic. And France get their hold.
Well, let's look at the shape of this second half in terms of the stats, shall we? So see some dancing on the far sideline.
Best warm-up.
I think they're just excited that we've actually got some genuine, legitimate sunshine out here in Limerick. Yesterday, of course, the showcase game was pretty grim.
And we have only 8 minutes left to the end of the game.
Indeed, not long left as this one has ground it out. Although, it has to be said, we've seen much cleaner offensive possessions in the second half. Of course, the first half we only saw the 1 clean hold at all for the French, 3 for the Italians. And thus far, in this match, the Italians, the 2 clean breaks, 2 clean holds, but it isn't just quite enough to regain the lead in this match. So person coverage from the French. Again, the big poach off of Sorrenti, but Scazzieri with the drop in centre field.
But the strong body language on the Italian side as well. We know they use their body to speak.
Always ever expressive. Barenton finding Daban on the far sideline. Back to her. 59 and 9 working beautifully together. Now grinding towards the sideline in the end zone. Oh, lovely touch on that high release from Barentin. Now it's Petitbon. Again, just trying to strike up the line. Becker ready to pounce. Just a trot back required. Lovely Baker round. Just looking for options into Barenton again. Oh, and a lovely give go. Petitbon with the score. Little spike of the disc there just to celebrate that one as they keep this alive. 12-10, I think. Of course, no, that's a break.
It is a break. As Italy's getting comfortable, getting the breaks back, France just comes back, get one on their own, and keep that advantage. 12-10. Putting themselves back in a comfortable position, especially while entering the last minutes of the game. You want to have the most scores between, most score difference, and be sure that if the opposite team wants to catch up for the end of the game, they will need to really break like thousands of points in a row.
I think that they have to talk about the mentality that point that took us to 11-10 for the French must have had on the Italian side. You know, they had opportunities in the end zone for them to go and get that score. Of course, they missed the kind of, the one that catch that came back off the travel call, the one that came back off the missed one-hand attempt at the grab. So perhaps a little bit unsettled, a bit frustrated. We saw that shot go just straight into the air from, of course, Casarini. So maybe a little bit of energy in the Italian camp that needs to be channeled in a different way.
This is always a question, how do you channel the Italian energy? They have a lot, but you never know in what direction it's going to go. And this, I think, is one of the main strengths coach needs to coach the Italian team.
Well, isolation play for Elena Benghi. So enjoy watching that athlete on the field. To Scazzieri now. Baroni. This is making solid progress. Looking for the reset for Sorrenti. Benghi.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely beautiful pass on the run for Sorrenti. That one requires a little bit rundown. Nearly knocked out by her own kneecaps. Goodness gracious. Lovely shot to the break side, though. A little jump over the line and the celebration for Elena Scazzieri.
Here's the score for Italy, 11-12. Pushing a lot of frustration on the field of cuts not being done where the players with the disc expected them. Like maybe the full field not totally used. They'd like to get the disc moving a bit more in every direction, but still, even on the open side, they still found a good flow and managed to get free to get a score.
Well, 4.5 minutes left of regulation time here in women's pool play. This, of course, is not a do-or-die situation. The Italians will have opportunities if they cannot snag themselves another break in this game. But Universe Point. Charlotte, which pitch?
We have the other streamed pitch that is getting to Universe Point, Lithuania, Poland, 14-14. You can go see that on ULTI.TV as well.
You lucky, lucky people. And if you're enjoying this match, feel free, like, subscribe, and hit the thumbs up button on this game. We've got, nearly 600 people watching. Welcome one and all. And only 44 likes. Help us just best the algorithm and bring, of course, this ultimate coverage to more folks. Live, on demand, and all free.
So let's see what is the strategy of Italy. Are they putting a power line or just their normal defensive line? That is also very good. But I mean, they definitely need to score breaks. It is 3 minutes left.
I think we've got more or less a true D-line out on the pitch. Certainly got Rabaglia, the D-line captain. Pancotti.
Giovannini again with the duty of marking Mondio.
Indeed, and of course, watch out for Marrero. Currently sat at the back of the play alongside Amand Babiquian.
I mean, a tall girl like her, I would also put her as the last one.
Oh, absolutely. You can see the switching off from the Italians, just really taking advantage of this slow movement of the French offense in the latter stages of this game. Mondiaux now in the deep space. To be fair, she's pretty good at skying folks as well. But we do prefer to have her with disc in hand. Babiquian now coming through. Raimondo. Back to the bevised athlete. Le Bon. This is just lovely patience from the French. But of course we've seen the pass tally rise up very, very high and cause errors. All it takes is one miss, and in terms of your percentages, the more passes you throw, of course, the more likely that is to creep in. Le Bon being under lots of pressure. The stall out call.
That was a long hold.
That really was.
French women seem to be struggling to find open players, to find where to throw the disc. Getting back in their end zone.
Or Giovannini just trying to assassinate Mondiaux. Cover her in a blanket or a pillow, and doing so very effectively. Le Bon now, though, has a bit of energy on the far sideline. Valet looking for the give-go action, but good defense from the Italians. Person coverage, upfield still, more or less. But the cup trying to cause mischief and doing so. Valet. Time signalled as over on the far side of the field. So a slight discrepancy in our game clock, but the cap will come on after this point is played. So either a game to 13 or a game to 14. That one well kept by Langlois.
Ready for the collision, but Italians did slow down before.
Well, good respect. And I do want to give a very quick shout out in live play to Casarini, who actually on that previous stall out call said she had a good perspective and the disc was already out of the hands of Le Bon. But this is good movement. Chartrain into Valet. Now the Italians just doing one-on-one coverage.
Going back to the person defense. Now that the French reached the half and Mondiaux back in the game.
Yeah, and reaching for that slightly low disc, but does it fine enough. Easy fine in the centre pocket. Raimondo. Oh, lovely flash. The ankle breaking cuts from Mondiaux. One out into the space. What a peach of a backhand that is. Oh my, oh my. Roland Croix with the French goal, and we are going to have a game to 14.
into 14, and what a long point. Took a really long time for the French girls to make their way to the end zone. But I think maybe switching to person defense is not the best option for the Italians. That zone was very efficient against the French ladies, especially with Mondio being shut down by Giovannini, personal marking her all point, forcing her to leave the handling zone, periphery, and that was good. Why did they stop? Why go to person defense? They were not even that close to the end zone. They stopped at half field, which is a weird decision seeing how well it worked.
Well, we will see if the French can snag themselves another break. They did 2 in the first half. They've had 1 this second half. So can they finish it on defense? Are we going to get a power line from the French, or is it just all the normal stuff?
It looks like their regular defensive line to me. I don't know if I would have made this decision as a coach. Maybe you'd like to finish it off straight away or give one chance. I mean, they still have the score to let Italy score another one and then see what their own offensive line can do.
Yeah, they will have a couple of match points, but this is the first and the only one that they would come out on defense. So I don't mind that, not kind of pulling anyone across, keeping your personnel rested, and just in case you need them, as we see the wind picking up. Or I say see, more like feel.
What a bad timing for Italian offense. But the French already set a person defense. They didn't want to go on zone.
Well, Bengi with that one a little bit too high. And the expression on the face of Giada Bolognesi says it all. Far side, Rollet down to Bocaneca Gomez even. Oh, that is spicy. I tell you what, Valentin shaking their hand there. You can see how much loft and how much velocity that disc had picked up. And the rain is starting to fall now. Travel call.
Wind picking up, so options getting smaller, less options for the Italians, but...
Well, I tell you what, the wind condition seems to be determined to prevent the Italians from scoring any more goals.
I mean, that's the reaction. When there's wind, you want to throw harder with more spin so that this doesn't fly away, but if it's too much...
Well, I think the big difference is they're not throwing quite as flat as they were at the beginning of the game because they've gotten away with it with the wind conditions. But that's going to be game for the French women. A little bit of collateral on the legs of Salom Rollet, but that will be good enough for the French. They win this one 14-11, and they never looked back after taking that lead in the first half.
So didn't even need a power line. Each line is a power line, apparently doing the job. Playing with the wind, retrieving the disc, whatever it takes. French women D-line got it. Another break to finish off this game. 14-11. Great game. Great comeback also by the Italians, who started the second half with strong 2 breaks, but just not enough. The French women also got some energy left and will to fight till the end and retrieved the breaks on their own. 2 breaks and 1 break to finish the game. As we see.
Yeah, still the Italians, so many more break chances than the French comparatively, but only managed to convert 2 of them in the end. The turnover count relatively even in this game. We didn't have the most wind. But overall, clean holds for the Italians, unfortunately not quite coming off. So they did connect very well when they did. They managed to cause some mischief on defense, but this one overall, the final score for France versus Italy in the early stages of pool play, 14-11.
I mean, this is their first game in this championship. Good way to start for France. And Italy probably deceived about it, but got to play together for the first time against another international team. It's their first game at the championship as the national team. We haven't seen them, as we said. So I think they still have a lot to work on, and they know it. And this is a good start for them because really good game though. Would have been different maybe if they had preparation tournament. They could have already stepped up earlier, give that intensity, this energy earlier in the game. However, I think it's not over. This is the first game, and we'll see more.
And
How about the rest of the championship,
I was
Hannah?
going to say, yeah, well, this women's division is shaping up to be something quite fun. We have, of course, got some scoreline results for you. Germany 15-13 over Sweden in the end, and the Czech Republic 15-11 over the Swiss women, who, of course, don't get the most love on our previews, but, of course, are medalists for quite a while. So we are going to have a sideline interview with Anne Le Bon, Nanu, of course, who had a pretty impressive stat line in this game. Welcome to the booth, Anne. Currently 5 blocks so far for the tournament, with 1 goal and 1 assist. Defensively for you in this match, what was the difference maker?
I think I was the team, and I were very. Sorry for my English.
You're doing great.
We wanted to do a great game, to start the championship really strong, and I think in my mind I was okay. And we thought yesterday maybe it will be windy, so we have to be aware in the air, and I was.
And you were aware.
Well, there was a disc that went up, and but I think almost the full 14 players on the pitch were there all together, and it was you rising up and getting the disc on the block. So
No, the disc came to me.
so how do you have that magnetism? How do you do it, Le Bon? It's a thing of beauty. What's your one tip for reading the disc that well?
I don't know. I saw the disc very far. Comment dire?
High.
Very high. And I thought, okay, stay here. Maybe he came back to me. He will come back to me, and he did. So, okay, it's my secret.
Oh, it's a secret. Okay, I was going to ask how you train for this, But what's your favorite way as a gymnast yourself? What's your favorite way to train for ultimate?
Yes, I like galipette. I like to handstand. No, it's a joke. But when I was gymnast, I was. We did a lot of workout, musculation, and so je suis habitué, quoi.
So strong.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you get back to your team. Congratulations on your first win of this year in championships.
Thank you. We are very happy.
I'm sure there will be many more. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Thank you. Congrats.
Well, always delightful to have.
Thank you. Thanks. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.